What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Case Digital. My name is Zach, and today I'm going to show you how you can take regular old boring text and printouts and turn it into something like this. Right here, we have subscribed to Case Digital. Yes, shameless plug, I know. But this is what we're going to do. Rather than just print out boring text, I would just say subscribe to. It prints it out in these cool fonts, right? So let's talk about how we can do this in Python right now. All right, so basically, if you didn't already catch on, we're using a package called with this down here. We're using a package called PyFiglet. I think Figlet's a package that's used in other things, but someone got bored one day and turned it into a package that you can use directly in Python, which is awesome. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to pip install it. PyFiglet, not Piglet. PyFiglet doesn't come in with traditional Python, so you have to come down here and in our terminal, we've got to do something. Let's get this a little bigger. I'm going to reset this so we clear it up. And you just got to simply go pip install PyFiglet. Again, I highly recommend that you use a virtual environment. You can tell that I'm using one because of that right there. This little thing right before my terminal tells me, at least in the default terminals, tells me that it's activated a Python virtual environment. So if I hit enter, mine should already be installed because, well, I've already installed To Use it. So you can see that's already satisfied. And now all you have to come up here is just type in from PyFiglet, import Figlet. And now you're ready to go and start using it. All right, so I went ahead and got rid of that code because I want to show you, we're going to code this together, right? So I'm going to go ahead and type if name because I've set up a Python snippet file. If you want to learn more about snippets, there's a link down below. But essentially, if I hit enter here, you'll see, boom, just like that if name converted into our main guard. And so from here, I can go and start using PyFiglet. So I'm going to say fig is equal to Figlet. And then what you need to do is pass in some information. In this case, we're just going to go font. We're just going to pass in, there's other things you can do, but we're going to say font is equal to, and then we're going to say slant, okay? Well, how do you know which fonts to do? We'll get to that in a second, right? But now, real basic right here, right? Now if I go ahead and say print, and then I say fig.render text, I can go in and pass in the text that I want to render. So I can say something like, hello, and go ahead and we're going to go rerun all this. And just like that, we get hello that's written out in nice Ascii characters, right? We can say Python is awesome and go ahead and rerun it. And then it's going to kind of, not go the full length, but just like that, you're going to get Python is awesome. And that's just in the slant font. Well, again, how do you know what fonts are available for you to use? Well, there's a method that you can use to print all those out. So let's talk about that right now. So there's a function where I can just simply go, I'm going to use a for loop because what's going to happen is this function that we're going to use is going to give us a list of the names. So we're going to say for font in fig.get fonts. Boom, that's the simple function, right? Get fonts. So now we're going to just go ahead and I'm going to say print, and then we've got, we're going to use f string, and we're just going to say font is going to equal, and we'll go ahead and print everything out. So if I go ahead and now run this, what you should see happen is that we, again, re-render this Python is awesome, and we can just say Python, so it doesn't take up as much space, I guess. Or change it up, right? And then it's going to go ahead and list out all of the fonts that are available for us to use. So I can go ahead and just like that, there's Python, and boom. Now it's going to give us, and we could even do something like this, where we can say fonts is equal to this, and then that allows us to do something like this, and then we can come down here and we can say print another f string and say there are length of fonts, and then just like that we rerun this, Python gets redisplayed, and we say that holy macaroni, there is 571 fonts, and you can see all the different ones. Hey, there's this big money one. So now if I wanted to use these different fonts, I could come up here and I can simply change this up here if I wanted. We're gonna try the big money Ascii and see what that does with Python. Whoa, turned everything, and we can turn this off. Sorry, we can move this down. That's what we'll do. So that way we can kind of see what that outputs. So if we go ahead and rerun it, boom, Python money. That is big money, right? Now, we can try a few of these. Let's just go with whatever this one is and try that. Save that, rerun. And just like that, got Python. There you go. There's a few interesting ones in here. Like, it's fun. I recommend that you just take this and play with it. and go through it. But what happens though if like, you know, I want to change the font? Like, yeah, I set it as crazy now, but now what happens if I want to change it right after that to a different font, right? So let me show you how you can do that. Changing fonts is actually really simple because PyFiglet library just allows you to have a simple function that does that. And I can say fig.set font, go figure, right? And then I can pass in a different one. Now we can go slant. Let's go back to slant, okay? Because I just know that one off the top of my head. So we'll start off and render in this crazy font, and then we'll come in here and we'll do another one of these, and then we'll render in slant. So if I go ahead and hit enter and rerun this, oh, and I have it in there. Perfect. This is great because set font, I forgot about this, takes an args of a string. So basically this needs to be font is equal to, because you can do other things. So we're going to say font is equal to and rerun this. So good thing I saw that or we had that error because I encountered this the first time I was using this a bunch of times. But it's simply just like that. There is our crazy font, and then there is using the slant font. And that is how you can change your font in Python. So that is how you can basically render fonts or these coolish fonts using PyFiglet in Python. I thought this was kind of fun. I saw this and I was just like, hey, I gotta share this. I think this is pretty cool. Because oftentimes like you see like when you start up like a Z shell or stuff like that, you see, you know, using things like Figlet or different things that are just like have these cool fonts. You're like, oh, how do I do that? And now you can do that in Python really simple. Like look how many lines of code there was. It was really like you set the Figlet object. So there's one. Which that would set your font if you knew exactly what font you want to use right away. So there's one. And then 2, render the text. That's it. 2 lines of code. I mean, we have more because we're showing different things, but 2 lines of code. You can render cool text just like that in your terminal. And that's your Python tip of the day. Till next time, keep on programming.